Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel Health and Wellness with Emma Mentel. If you're new here, please subscribe and please share the content that you found helpful or supportive. Please leave your comments, and yes, I hope you find that this platform is helpful for you on your health and healing journey. For the rest of you, welcome back. It's this very auspicious week. I love this kind of marker in the year where we have an eclipse and a full moon, as well as an equinox. And this week for me has been extra special. I've done a long fast with a small group of my fasting participants, previous group participants. And some of them have done exceptionally well. I never see this as a challenge to see who can go the longest. But I must say, in each and every fast, there's somebody, or at least one, usually more than one, who has a big personal breakthrough. So this week, for this recording, I want to talk about my fast, a little bit about the equinox and what it can represent for you, and see if you feel inspired by some of the mentions. So the group and myself had our last meal on a Sunday evening. I know somebody had a meal a Sunday lunchtime because they wanted to finish before the others. And I completed an 86-hour fast. If you've been following me for a while, you will know that I'm very familiar with fasting, that I've done the long fasts over years and frequently, and especially when it comes to something like an equinox or a solstice. I like to do at least a 72-hour fast, some days, sometimes a bit longer. So this for me is a big opportunity to reset on all levels. Someone on my group asked this morning when I mentioned that I'd broken my fast, said, please can I share my results with the group? And I know that for some of you, and for some of my fasting group participants, that achieving a weight loss or achieving a goal would be the main focus and aim of doing a long fast. And for me, it's a very different approach. From the very beginning, when I started doing a long fast, and that's probably about 3 years ago, for this particular approach, I was trying to get rid of psoriasis that I had developed. And you will know I've made some videos about that as well, if you scroll down on the other videos. But my fasts have always been aimed at helping my body to reset, helping my body to repair, but also giving my mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects a chance to get rid of some clutter when we're not eating, when we're removing the familiarity of having meals. We become very attuned to and acutely aware of our thoughts, our experiences, and our emotions. And especially around a week where we have an eclipse, a full moon, and an equinox, it's a wonderful opportunity to review. And I look at it regardless of what sign the eclipse and the full moon is in, or whether it's a spring equinox or an autumn equinox. For us in the southern hemisphere, this is going into spring, and for those of you in the northern hemisphere, you'll be going into autumn. But it doesn't really matter. With a fast, and then with the combined amplification of our intentions, we can then use this to review. And I think about it and encourage my clients and fasting participants. I think about it in terms of choosing a word that would represent what I most want to embody for these few days that I'm fasting. The word I chose for this week was shine. I use a list of words by Danielle Laporte, a positive feeling, emotions, and I look through that and I choose a word that really jumps out at me. I know some of my other participants use the word trust, and that can be an incredible word to use during a longer fast, or if one hasn't done a fast for a while. But what are the kind of things that we can review and consider with an equinox or with a full moon or during a fast, or then a combination of all these things? If you can perhaps grab a pen and paper, or if you watch this again, sit with a pen and paper and think about the following question. Am I currently holding any disharmony, any feeling, any sensation, any conflict, any symptom in the areas of my physical body, my mind or my thoughts, my feelings or my emotions, my relationships with people around me, close relationships or not so close, and then maybe also in your career or in your work environment? What are you holding on to that feels like it is creating a disharmony or a restriction in any of these areas? And of course, when you work with a fast, things feel like they become a lot more obvious. Things that might have been hidden before, suddenly you'll have an insight about or look at it in a very different way. So if you can identify the disharmony or restriction or limitations that you are experiencing in different areas in your life, we can then also say, are there any habits that I have, any habitual thoughts, any eating habits, any thinking habits, any lifestyle habits that will weaken or deplete my body? For example, if you're somebody who scrolls on your phone all night and you don't get a decent sleep, this could be a good time to set the intention to change that and to find supportive strategies to put something better in place. And I know it's not always easy to feel difficult emotions. Sometimes a week like this, when there's a lot going on and you're fasting, and there's all the planetary aspects, people can feel quite sensitive, quite sensitized, and easily triggered. And again, this is an opportunity to perhaps just take a step back, find a place where you can have more spaciousness and a bit of silence, and have a look at how you can change that. Because sometimes when we are feeling particularly sensitive about something, or very defensive about a certain conversation or mention, it might indicate that that area needs a bit of a review. And what would support your body on all these different levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, to be able to feel less burdened by something like that? Of course, you know, during the fast, and I use my chart always with my groups, the fasting timeline. For me, it can be a very specific motivational markers along the way, and especially for somebody who's not done a fast longer than 24 hours. And this is such an encouraging, supportive tool, I find. So yes, some emotions and thoughts, some dreams might be really vivid. Again, it's a combination of all these different things, from a fast, you know, to the moon and to the equinox and the eclipse. It is really driving us, it's encouraging us to go into those areas where we've perhaps really suppressed things, or where we've neglected to attend to something, whether it's to do with your physical health or a relationship, or the way that you look at yourself. And the word authenticity really came through very strongly for me in a few of the clips that I watched this week. And authenticity is all about how you are showing up in the world, not for others, but as your truest self. I don't like to think of it as the best version of yourself, but more the truest version of yourself. And anything that is hiding that, or suppressing that, or feeling dismissed or silenced as part of that authentic self would really benefit from having a review. Thank you for watching. This was just my update of this long fast, and I want to talk a little bit more in my next recording about specifically how to use the equinox and the residual effects of this full moon and eclipse to shift perhaps some difficult, stuck feelings, emotional states and thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate your time, and I will speak to you again soon from cold and rainy Durban. This is Friday afternoon on the 20th of September. It's not often that I wear a jersey, especially not a jersey with a neck, a high neck, but it's been cold here, and quite nice to feel like one can wear something really warm and comforting. I hope wherever you are, the weather is beautiful, and that you will have a magical and wonderful weekend.